You talk to people who are expert computer users, they are so bloody powerful, it is just beyond belief.
Trying to build a company and have it succeed is like eating glass and staring into the abyss.
Every morning I go for a run. That's the first thing I do every morning. Haven't taken a day off of running since December 2016.
Want to be happy? Build a life, not just a business.
Living that believe in life. Out here living that believe in life. Every day we living that believe in life. Hustle like we're living that believe in life. Living life, yeah, so we grinding it out. Every single day we be grinding it out. Hustle like we living that believe in life, oh. That believe in life, oh.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. So today, let's live your best belief life and learn the 10 universal skills that are hard to learn but will pay off forever. Okay, let's kick it off with skill *1, develop a high pain tolerance with Elon Musk.
There's a friend of mine who's got a great saying about creating a company, which is trying to build a company and have it succeed is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. So, I mean, what tends to happen is it's sort of quite exciting for the first several months of starting a company, and then reality sets in. Things don't go as well as planned. Customers aren't signing up. The technology or the product isn't working as well as you thought. And then that can sometimes be compounded by a recession, and it can be very, very painful for several years. So I think, frankly, starting a company, I would advise people to have a high pain tolerance.
Skill #2, master computer skills with Jordan Peterson.
I made a decision when the computers started to become omnipresent, and so that would have been about 1993, that I was going to spend a year, and that was the first year that I was teaching in Boston, pretty much doing nothing but figuring out how Intel 486s worked. And it meant there was a lot of other things that I had to put on hold, but I did become a competent computer user, and I'm pretty fast. But, you know, my son, it's just annoying as hell to watch him on the computer and on the phone, and my graduate students as well, because they're so much faster than me that it's not even funny, and I'm not really accustomed to being slower than someone else in the room. And so, if I had children now, the one thing I would bloody well make sure that they knew was how to use a computer, how to program, man. Because if you're smart and you can use a computer, you are so much smarter than you are if you're just smart that it's not even funny. You know, and you talk to people, you see this in Silicon Valley all the time, you talk to people who are expert computer users, they are so bloody powerful, it is just beyond belief. So, and that's going to do nothing but expand, right? Because Moore's law is not dead, and computers are doubling in power every 18 months, and who the hell knows where that's going to go.
Skill #3, become a learning machine with Tony Robbins.
But you can't have a standard education and expect to have an extraordinary life. It's not going to happen. The one breakthrough for all leaders is constant, never-ending improvement. And that means educating yourself and continuing to develop even greater emotional mastery, because that's what affects whether you execute or not. The opportunity for self-education is there. We have to change our psychology from, I'm going to do what everybody else does, and I'm mad because it doesn't work anymore, to the reality is this is the greatest time to be alive if you're growing, you're learning, you're educating, and you're developing valuable skills. It's like, if you go to work for McDonald's, I don't know, I think the average I read recently is $7.75 an hour in the United States working for McDonald's. The skill sets, the value you provide can be taught to anyone in about 20 minutes. Instead of complaining, you got to say, where are the skill sets valued in the marketplace? And how do I work harder on myself than anything else? Because if I become more valuable, then I will be able to give more, do more, and change more. When I interviewed Warren Buffett, I asked the most important investment he ever made in his life. You know what he said it was? I was thinking all the companies he'd done, you know. He said, Tony, go into Dale Carnegie. I said, what? He goes, because by developing myself, that's the most important investment. Those skill sets, learning how to persuade, learning how to speak, learning how to influence, all my ideas would have died on my lips if I hadn't been able to influence, and I learned it from that little course. Most valuable thing I ever did in my life, he said.
Skill #4, influence and persuade people with Ed Milet.
If I could go back and you could only give me one skill to begin with and I had to build from all of it, I can tell you for sure what it would be for me, and that would be the ability to influence. So it's the ability to persuade people. Without that skill set, the vast majority of my wealth does not exist. If you can't persuade people, if you can't influence people to make decisions that are in their own best interest, but that also grow your business, your brand, your company, your net worth, you can't ever become successful. One thing that everybody I know that's a leader in everything they do can do is persuade people. Now, I watch people do that in all different types of ways. Some do it through intimidation, some do it through force, some do it through humor, some do it through persuasive strategies, transfer of energy, you name it. But all leaders can persuade. All successful people can get people to make decisions in their own best interest that also get them to participate with their company. It's the number one skill that I see most people not spending the most time on, is their ability to communicate, their ability to persuade people. And because they're constantly trying to go to a different course, or they think that somehow if their product is good enough, or they get the right sales pitch, that somehow they're gonna win. But the fact of the matter is, you've got to become a better persuader.
Also, if you want to have more confidence and motivation, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links to join are in the description below.
There are just times when something is important enough, you believe in it enough, that you do it in spite of the fear.
You got to separate the vehicle from the outcome. What is it that's going to truly fulfill you? What is it that's going to give you that extraordinary life?
Everything I didn't want to do is what got me to where I'm at today.
Skill number 5, have integrity with Warren Buffett.
It takes 3 qualities, essentially, to do well, and extremely well, actually, in this country. It takes intelligence, it takes energy, and it takes integrity. And I say, if you don't have integrity, we don't want to hire somebody that's got intelligence and energy if they don't have integrity. We'd rather hire somebody that's dumb and lazy if they don't have integrity, because they probably will never get around to cheating us or doing something of the sort. And integrity is absolutely an option. You may not be able to throw a football 60 yards. And, you may not be able to run the 100 in 9.8. You may not be able to sink 3-pointers but you can choose where you stand on the integrity scale. You can't. You weren't born wired one way or the other. That is an absolute choice you make.
Skill number 6, develop discipline with David Goggins.
I prioritize trying to win the battle in the morning. So I always win the battle in the morning. So I get up in the morning time. Every morning I go for a run. That's the first thing I do every morning. Haven't taken a day off of running since December 2016. Every day up in the morning. So I also stretch out every day for about 2 to 3 hours. Every day. I've missed 2 days in about 5.5, 6 years. So that's just my routine. And about 4 days a week, I'm in the gym hitting the weights. Because you can't just be a runner. So this is every single day. The monotony of my life, but this is what builds discipline. And not everybody, I'm not telling everybody to do this, but this is my lifestyle. This is how I build self-discipline.
Skill number 7, be a great reader with Oprah Winfrey.
And I would say reading is the strongest signal for success in the future that I've ever seen. It is the strongest. I got my first job in radio when I was 16 years old, because I've been broadcasting since I was 16 years old. But my first job I got because I was a great reader. When you are a great reader, you can articulate and speak and command the English language in ways that other people cannot. And people think you're a lot smarter than you are, lots of times, because you're a great reader. Have you ever met a person who was a great reader when they were young who was not successful? You never. It is the absolute best foundation ever in life.
Skill number 8, don't overvalue your time with Gary Vaynerchuk.
How do you know when a business opportunity or venture is worth your time? And when do you say no when so many people would say yes in that situation?
I think too many people overvalue their time when their time is worth nothing. So this is my favorite one. I love when people are like, yo, is this worth my time? I'm like, well, and it's in a business context. I'm like, well, how much money is your business making? They're like, yo, I don't have one yet. I'm like, well, your time is worth 0. So I think people are audacious with their time. They're fancy before they're fancy. So everything's worth your time when you're at 0. You may bail. I'm a big believer of I'm in yes culture. My whole game is yes, comma. I'm not a great person to ask the no thing. I think there's people that are more disciplined at no. I just like the value of yes. And then if I'm a week, an hour, a year in, and I've realized it's not right, I leave. I bail. Because I'm not worried about the loss, because I'm not hearing anybody's opinions. I think you get context. You know, the reason I like starting up and stopping businesses is because I like the context. Like right now, I'm super hot on this thesis that sports trading cards are about to explode again. So I'm spending an ungodly amount of, I spent 4.5 hours looking at qualitative data and quant data on eBay around Giannis rookie cards from Prism graded PSA 10. 4.5 hours. I don't have like 3 minutes for people that are running like $10 million businesses for me. So I like saying yes because I know I'm learning things, and then if I decide it's not worth it, I'll bounce. So a couple things I would tell you is, one, we need less audacity, right? And we need more tasting. And so, and I know when it's time to say no after I've said yes and realized after tasting it, it's no. You know how many people hate oysters but have never had one? That's how I think about that question.
Skill number 9, don't waste money with Mark Cuban.
The way we ran our business, it was just like lean and mean, right? You invest in your product, you invest in your customers, you invest in your people. And, you know, we had open offices. You don't need fancy stuff. They immediately came down and just redid all the furniture in purple and gold. I'm like, it's cool, that's my high school's colors, you know? But why are we spending this money? Got a whole new office, a whole new building. You know, I'm just like, why are we spending this money? One of the things in my rules, right, when I look at companies to invest in, if someone walks in with swag, here's my coffee mug with my logo, here's your t-shirt with my logo. I don't see anybody wearing a t-shirt with a startup's logo. Do you? No. Would you wear some other startup's logo polo shirt? Hell no. Hell no, right? It's just a waste of money. You know, put your money where you're able to differentiate yourself and add value that separates yourself so you can get ahead. Don't waste it.
And skill number 10, the last one before a very special bonus one, is develop your communication skills with Grant Cardone.
Well, I think the idea of knocking on doors, you know, talking to people. Yeah. Like these are the skills that are not taught in the schools. This is why it goes back to your question about the school system failing. The required skills, I need a client. Like if you simplify, the thing that people like about what we do is we simplify the business process. I need to make a contact. How can I do that? Like how can I just simply, if I'm a cameraman and I want more work, you know, how do I knock on a door or make a phone call, get in front of someone. So hard. Impress them. You know, if I go to Harrod's right here, I'll see how many people don't have that skill. I walk in, I don't even get hello. You know, I don't get hello. How you doing? Great to have you here. Appreciate you being here. It's so nice for you to drop by. Thanks for coming into Cartier. I mean, it's a $3 million ring over there. I went in there the other day. I can't even get anybody to show me anything. I'm like, how much is the ring? You know, they kind of look at me, right? Can you show it to me? Do you mind showing it to me? He showed it to me, told me how much it was, and I leave. He didn't show me a second ring, a third ring, a fourth ring. So those are the skills that people need, right? How do I interact with people? Communicate. Yeah.
Now I have a special bonus clip from Barack Obama on how to become charismatic that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching a video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1, what will you do this week to improve your communication skills? Number 2, where do you need to stop wasting money? And number 3, what new book can you pick up and start reading today? And if you're still here watching this video, I want to celebrate you. Give me a hashtag believe in the comments as well.
You may have heard about this. Kanye is thinking about running for Speaker of the House. I couldn't get any stranger. But in case Kanye is serious about this whole POTUS thing, or as he calls it, PZ, I do have advice for him. There's some stuff that I picked up on the way. First of all, you've got to spend a lot of time dealing with some strange characters who behave like they're on a reality TV show. So you've got to be cool with that. Love you too. Second, this is a second important tip. Saying that you have a beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy. That's what's known as off message in politics. You can't say something like that. There are a lot of people who've lost their congressional seats saying things like that. You don't do that. That's number 2. And number 3, do you really think that this country is going to elect a black guy from the south side of Chicago with a funny name to be president of the United States? That is crazy.
If you want to learn how billionaires think, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
What are you urging them to do?
I'll explain it. Just what I'm talking about.